Hi class. Let's take a look now at adding to our Love CPP example. And last class we left um, converting the while loop to a for loop. And let's run it just to kind of see where we're at here. So again, if you recall, this is the example where the user puts in the number of times they want the message printed, and it prints the message 3 times and does some other work. And each time we run this, we have to go ahead and run start without debugging. But it would be nice if the user could just say, I'd like to run this again. And we're going to do that by using a do-while loop. So let's review what a do-while loop structure looks like. And this is just pseudocode to show you how we're going to use this in this example. So around all the work we're going to do that we want to do and keep repeating, we're going to put a do, and it starts do, and then bracket, in bracket, while essentially the user says, yes, I want to continue. So kind of in a general sense, we're going to enter this loop, do all of our stuff where we're writing out multiple times I love CPP, adding them up, etc. And then at the very end, we're going to ask the user, hey, do you want to try this again? And if they say yes, we're going to come back up and run our task again. And we will do this until the user says, no, I'm done and I want to quit. So let's put this in our code here. And you'll notice I have added a variable called again, which is just a character, and I've set it equal to y. We're going to use that to capture the user's response as to whether they want to start again. But let's put that do loop around our work here, and I'm starting with the do and all the way down to we're done printing all of our information here, and put while and then some condition. This is where we want to ask the user, do you want to keep running this? So I'm going to give myself some space here. So all of this area in here is where the user is doing the work, and this is where we want to, before we end the loop, ask the user, would you like to try this again? So I'm just going to do this with the usual see out and see in scenario where we're prompting the user and going to give the user a hint on what I would like them to input. So Y or N. And then we will use the cn to put it into that variable that we already had declared as a character called again. So the user is going to put in some response, yet a y if they want to continue, or anything else if they don't. So let's capture that condition inside here. So, whoop, where I was, here we go. So while the again variable is equal to an uppercase Y, or I'll be nice and allow the user to put in a lowercase y, and then we'll take a look at that. Then we're going to assume that they're going to want to continue. So now let's run and see what this looks like now. Okay, so if we want to print it 3 times, it says, do you want to try again? I'll say yes. Try it 3 times. I've got a little bit of an issue here because my sum is increasing, so let's go ahead and correct that. So before we enter this for loop, we want to reinitialize our sum to be equal to 0. And now let's run it again. This is all inside our do loop. Yes, I'd like to try it again. Okay, and now that looks good. And if the user puts in a no, we're done. So in review, we went ahead and put this do while around all of the tasks that we wanted to complete. So that looks like this: do, while, the user response is a Y or a lowercase y, and right before we get there we have to ask the user for their response. So hopefully you can take a look at this again if you have questions in your homework. One last item, you might be thinking, is there an easier way to represent this compound condition? And there is, so I'm going to show you the equivalent here. There is a function called toUpper that'll take whatever the user puts in and convert that to uppercase for your comparison. That is a more succinct way than doing it like this. So one last tidbit.